Okay. Hello. Hello,
Hi.
everybody, and welcome to Tour Guide Tales. I'm Genevieve White, and I'm a copywriter and coach. I help tour guides write confident copy, grow their audience, and make more money. And I am absolutely delighted today to welcome my very special guest, Diana Bodea, to the show. Diana is a tour guide in London. She specializes in creating exclusive and luxury tours. She has a wealth of knowledge about history and the history of art, both of which she's very qualified in, and a fascination with the royal family. In fact, that's what we've been talking about just before we went live. We were having a chat about that. So I'm sure she's got lots of really interesting insights. Welcome, Diana, and hello.
Hi, Jenny. Lovely to see you, and thank you for inviting me. I'm a bit
Oh,
nervous,
no.
I have to admit, but I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, it's totally normal to be nervous, but you're going to be absolutely brilliant. So don't you worry. And oh yeah, comments. I'll click on the comments. Okay, if you are watching, please do let us know where you're watching from, and feel free to ask any questions you may have, or just to say hi. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, so let's start because Diana and I are both based in the UK, Diana in London and myself in the Shetland Islands. It's, of course, absolutely compulsory to begin by talking about the weather. So, Diana, what's
Well,
the weather like in London?
well, it's a bit gloomy at the moment. It was bright and sunny in the early hours, but now it's cloudy. It's about to rain. But to be honest, I'm very lucky. In London, we have the magnolias in bloom already. We have daffodils
Oh,
everywhere. We were lucky to have a few spells of sunshine the last few days. So uh, I'm grateful. I live in London. I don't know how's the weather there at yours, but here it's not that bad, to be honest.
I think it sounds like you're quite a bit further on in the spring department than we are here. It's
A
still
bit,
very,
yeah.
very cold here, very, very grey and also very gloomy, but we definitely the daffodils haven't come out yet. We've got a few
Oh gosh.
sorry looking snowdrops, but no daffodils.
Okay.
So I think
Well,
maybe in May that will
oh
start to
gosh.
happen.
I think they're gonna be there soon. So don't worry about that.
I hope so. Oh, and welcome to Patrick from Bruges, and Amanda from the northeast of England, and Esther from Lerwick. Hi, Esther. Okay,
Welcome
Esther is
home.
also in Scotland.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, lovely. So, Diana, let's get started talking about all things tourism related. And I know you've got an interesting story about how you became a tour guide. So, can you tell us?
Yes. Well, it sort of happened out of the blue, to be honest. I moved to London, to England, that is, in London 5.5 years ago. And of course, the first year, I don't think we had one free weekend because everybody was coming to visit. Of course, everybody wants to come to London, right? So if you don't have to pay accommodation, it's even better. So we had friends and family coming over. We were very glad about it. But everything started by taking people in central London. So, okay, let me show you how Buckingham Palace really looks. Let me show you, I don't know, Westminster Abbey, the Tower of London. Let me show you a very nice small yard, Neil's Yard, for example, in Covent Garden, and all sorts of spaces. Or I took my friends and family in places that I felt that they were interested in. But in the same time, everybody told me, darling, you really have to do it as your job because you're very good at it. You know history, art history. You're a bit obsessed with the royal family, generally royals, specifically British royals. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's start and do it. And I'm very lucky. My husband works in IT, so I told him, just make me a website. And he was like, okay, darling, go outside, take some photos, make a bit of research, and I'll do the website. So it was a family business, so to speak. But I've been doing it for years now. Of course, I had other jobs, but this is my the closest to my heart, so to speak. I love getting to know people from all across the world. I love talking a lot. And I love to I love to share what I know. And to be honest, with history and art history, it's always a continuous learning process. And whenever I find, you can never know everything. And whenever I find a new building that I didn't pay attention to, or a new square or a new street that maybe I haven't been there in years, I just start and make a research about it. And usually I try to include everything I find new, even if I don't take my clients there, because maybe it's not on the itinerary or it's not connected to the actual tour. I like to tell them more about the outdoor, the outside part of the tour that I'm making. So I get them more interested, so to speak, in London, especially.
Mhm, mhm.
So everything
I mean,
started with friends and family, basically.
that's such a lovely way of getting into tour guiding, because it came from,
Yeah,
just a place of real enjoyment and just doing
yeah,
something you enjoy and then making that into your profession, which is amazing. And
yeah. Well,
I'm
I feel very lucky about that.
Oh, there's lots more people joining us, so we'll just say hi to a few people. We've got Ali watching from Paris, Hamdi from Dubai, Carla from Madrid, Zakiria from Turkey, and Danny also from London. So you have a fellow
Well,
London
welcome
tour guide.
everybody.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us all. So I think you've maybe already touched on this a little bit in some of the things you just said, but my next question for you is not
Um,
hopefully. Oh, we've okay, good. So yes, the next
yeah.
question: what makes a great guide, in your opinion?
Well, in my personal opinion, I think a great guide should connect very well with the customers. Should ask them. I personally, I always ask my clients, what do you want to see specifically? For example, if I have the Westminster tour, which is the most classic one, if you wish, the royal tour. Of course, I touch every base: Buckingham Palace, Westminster Abbey, but I always ask them, do you wish to see more? Do you wish to see that part more? Or if I go to British Museum, what do you want to see inside British Museum? Because of course, British Museum is huge. You can't really cover everything. It can take a day or 10 years, and still it's plenty enough to see. So I try to connect with the clients on a very personal level. I try to listen to them, what they wish to know more about, and then I concentrate on that part. Of course, I present the tour generally, as I usually do, but on the same time, I think paying attention to the customers and to their needs and to their interests is very important, and I think that makes a guide a great guide.
I think you're right. I think the personalization aspect is so
Yeah,
important. And also, I mean, I think many people, our concept of a tour guide, if we picture a tour guide, it might be somebody standing and talking. But what you say about listening is really important, I think, as
yeah,
well, giving people the space and for you to listen to them, and then,
exactly.
base your itineraries around that. So there's a certain degree of flexibility then in your itineraries.
Of
It's
course.
not fixed at all.
No, no,
Mhm.
no, no, of course. And I always ask them, where are you from? How do you find London? Especially if they're the first time in London. But on the same time, I have clients who come for the third or fourth or fifth time in London, and only this time they took a guide to walk around with them, and
Mhm.
they are like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing!" Because I've seen Buckingham Palace from a cab or by walking past it, and I never knew about it. I never knew the story, and I think that's important to be able to tell the story of the place, and in the same time to engage with the client,
Mhm.
especially if they have certain interests in London. I don't know,
Mhm.
maybe they are businessmen, or I don't know, singers or artists or whatever. If you can find their interests, you can connect better with the story itself, with the guiding, the storytelling of the guiding part, and also with the client.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So it's finding that connection. And what you say about storytelling as well is really interesting. Can you tell us a little bit more about storytelling? Would you say you're a natural storyteller, or is that a skill you've developed through guiding?
Well, I like to talk a lot.
Really good.
I
Well, at
like
least you're a
talk.
very good guest.
I like to talk a lot, and I like to present history as a story, as a, if you wish, as a bedtime story. Because growing up, both of my grandparents, on both sides of the family, both of them were passionate about history. My mother's father was passionate about the Romans and how they conquered Dacia. I'm originally from Romania, so of course, knowing the story of the beginning of the Romanian people, I grew up with it since I was 3. My other grandfather was passionate about the Middle Ages, the politics of the Romanian principalities, etc. So I grew up with history being told as a story, as a, not necessarily as a bedtime story, maybe it's a bit exaggerated, but as a story that you can listen to and you feel good listening to. Because I think everybody agrees with me here. Having history classes in school is boring, because maybe you don't like the teacher, or they ask too much of you to know certain dates or whatever. But being able to implement this storytelling in my guiding, I think that's the catch, so to speak, for the customers.
Because they're getting a real sense of context, I suppose, as
Exactly.
well. They're in
Exactly.
the places where these events took place,
Exactly.
maybe following in the footsteps of where certain people have walked. So it really brings it
Exactly.
to life. I can imagine you would tell a very, very good story. And actually, Patrick says you're good at it. He just
Oh,
says you're
thank
good
you.
at it. So I think he means storytelling, or maybe just talking. I'm not sure.
I'm not
And he
sure.
says, he says, but indeed, to connect and to show your passion is super important. So thanks for that, Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick.
Um, do you have, when you're doing your tours, is there like a favorite story that you like to tell? I mean, maybe you don't want to give too much away in case any of the
Well,
people watching want to come on a tour
I
with you one day.
I don't have a specific story. I will tell you how I make the tours,
Hmm.
so I can create a bit of a context.
Yes, that would be great.
Whenever, so for example, the Westminster tour, which covers Buckingham Palace, I start the tour in Green Park. Well, when you walk through Green Park, you have Spencer House, which was built by the first Earl.
Mhm.
He had to show off a bit. He built it in the neoclassical style, the first building ever built in London in that style. So just by, for example, just by saying that the first Earl Spencer wanted to show off, I think it's a bit funny. But if you think about the context, that's the Georgian century. It's is the Enlightenment. It's the century where everything was exaggerated: the dresses, the wigs, the cards playing, the fortunes lost, etc. So I think when you put that building in the context of the era, of the kings and the mistresses and everything, I think it gives the client a bit more information, and basically immerses them into that time, into that period. And I can't think of a specific story that I tell, but usually something comes up. And because of my art history background, for example, I can also describe the buildings, describe the architecture, describe the interiors. Because just to give you an idea, Lancaster House, which is right at the entry on the Mall,
Mhm.
just across Buckingham Palace, is neighboring Clarence House, of course. But for what is best known, Lancaster House is like the stand-in for Buckingham Palace.
Mhm.
So everybody, when they watch a movie like, I don't know, King's Speech or Downton Abbey or The Crown or whatever film or series you watch, and they have the interior, the double staircase of Buckingham Palace is not inside Buckingham Palace, it's inside Lancaster House. So being able to tell that, and people connect instantly. They say, "Oh, but I remember that those columns at the entry in Buckingham." Well, it's not Buckingham; it's Lancaster House. So apart from the fact that it's a government building and it hosts the wine cellar of the government, which is important and interesting, it's also the stand-in for Buckingham Palace. So if you wish, these are the kind of stories that I like to link together with the history of the place and of the location and of the time and period when the building was actually built, who built it, how, what style. I think that's my background in art history, but also history. I like to combine everything together.
Well, listening to you, I'm certainly thinking I really want to come to London and come on a tour with you. And
Well, you're welcome anytime.
I'm sure our viewers are thinking the same thing. So another thing I'd like to talk about, and actually, one of the main focuses of today's broadcast was I wanted to talk to you about the fact that you deliver luxury tours. So there's this exclusivity about your
Yes.
service. And I think that's really interesting. And I think it might interest a lot of the people who are watching today, because it's interesting thinking about maybe packaging tours to the luxury market. So can you tell me, what do you think puts the L in luxury in your tours, Diana? What makes them exclusive?
Well, I think from my perspective, the first thing is the number of clients that you have at any one point. I like to have at least a maximum 6 people. I think it's extremely engaging. The relationship between me and them throughout the tour, it's much more engaging having a very small number of clients, like a family or two couple of friends, or I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 friends who are together in London. I like to do that. I don't like personally to have many customers at once because I can't engage with them. I think that's the very first thing that says luxury experience from my perspective. The second thing, I think, so beyond the fact that I engage with them and I talk to them and everything I said before, I always follow up. I always give them a text or something, even if it's not on the same day. It can be a month or so later. But I always engage with them, and I always send a text. Hi, how are you? I hope you enjoyed your time in London, etc. Whenever you're back, or you need something, or you have a question, any question, I'm a text away. Please send me a text or whatever it is you need. I think that's what it makes an experience, a luxury experience, the engagement and the personalization of the service. I think that's luxury essentially. I'm not talking about 10 stars hotels or anything like that. I'm just talking about experiences here.
No, that makes perfect sense. And I mean, obviously, as well, that links back with what you were saying earlier with making a connection with the
Yeah.
visitors. So if you've got like a group of, say, 20
You can't
visitors,
really connect.
no,
I
but
mean,
if you've got
I,
a group.
I'm not against it. Of course, every tour guide makes their business as they wish. But for me personally, it's very important to be able to listen to the clients. And I think by doing this, I'm offering them a much better or a much luxurious experience, if you wish.
Absolutely. And I do really like what you said about following up as well. I mean, not only does that make your visitor feel very, special and nurtured,
Yeah,
but it also makes really good sense, whatever your business is, I think, because, we all know that customers are much more likely to, buy again from who they,
exactly. Or to
who they bought
recommend you.
before. Yeah, exactly. Or recommend you. So, yeah, indeed, actually keeping in touch, keeping that personal connection. Because I think as well, like we have tour guides are kind of special people because we have our holidays, we have lots of really good, happy memories of our trips away.
Exactly.
And like if you have a good tour guide, then that tour guide becomes integral in that memory. So then
Exactly.
having that continuing connection is a really nice thing to do. Oh,
Exactly.
hello. Mike, we've got Mike watching from Maryland, USA, with a strong cup of coffee early in the morning. Well,
Oh
you enjoy
gosh,
coffee,
I
Mike?
really appreciate that. It's only midday here in UK.
Yeah, yeah, I know, but the coffee sounds good. I might be having a cup of
Yeah.
coffee after this, I think. Okay, so that's really interesting. What you were saying there about delivering the luxury tour experience. What can you tell me about marketing your tours for the luxury market, so that your marketing appeals to that, to that high end client?
I think, well, don't get me wrong. I'm not against putting money into marketing, but I worked for years in marketing before I came to UK, and
Mhm,
I really think the best way to target customers is to have very good pictures and to have
mhm,
a very good description of those pictures. Maybe not a complete description, so you can hook them up, so to speak, but give them a glimpse of what they can find out. And I think this is the best way to for the initial engagement. I think pictures are extremely important. As I posted on my account on LinkedIn, storytelling and photography, I think, makes all the money. Of course,
mhm.
marketing is it's important, but if you don't want to invest in marketing necessarily, there are guys who maybe don't want to put money into it, or don't have big budgets, or basically maybe they don't care. I really think that photography and storytelling are the best tools. And
Oh
of
yeah.
course, everybody who wants to sorry, just let me finish this idea. I think everybody who wants a luxury experience, if you see a great photo and if you get a glimpse of that information, you already are putting yourself there. And of course, having so many customers for the last year or so, I had recommendations. I had clients coming through clients. So I think the word of mouth is also very important, because it's a
Yeah.
personal experience, and having this personal touch. I think you would choose a guide in, I don't know, Lisbon, for example. If your friends went there and if they had a private tour guide like me, and they say, "Oh, Jenny, darling, you have to call this guy or this lady because they are amazing, and you're gonna see Lisbon through, I don't know, through their eyes, especially," and I'm sure you're gonna do that instead
Yeah.
of just going online and looking for a guide, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Word of mouth is really important. And that's where, again, I think what you were saying about keeping in touch with
Yeah,
your visitors is really good, because it keeps you front of mind as well. And then they are much
yeah,
more likely to recommend you to other people.
yeah.
But also, yeah, when we're talking about marketing, I think, I wasn't actually necessarily meaning paid marketing, like paid
Mhm.
advertisements. I'm just talking about the things you do, as you do. I know you have a nice website, you have your Instagram and your LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can do a lot of you can reach a
I
lot of people that way, can't you?
Yeah, I have my website. I have my Instagram account. I have my personal Instagram account and my culture account. Usually, I mix them together all the time, but it's fine. I mean, if you tag both of them, it's okay. I post from time to time. I have to be honest. I haven't posted on LinkedIn for ages, and if my mom is watching now, she's gonna send me a text saying, "Oh my gosh, post on LinkedIn again tomorrow now." Whatever. But I'm a bit lazy about that, so I have to admit I don't do it all the time. But of course, I really believe in social media, and as you said, it doesn't have to be paid. You can use the free side of the social media, and it's fine.
Mhm. Yeah, and you have to go where your clients are hanging out as well. So,
Exactly.
if you know
Exactly.
your
Depends.
clients are on
Yeah.
Instagram, then that's where you would be.
Yeah.
Although I would imagine that LinkedIn would be a really good platform for finding luxury clients, because there'd
Exactly.
be so many
Exactly.
personal assistants and so on working on LinkedIn on behalf of their
Exactly.
super rich bosses, it might be quite a good
Yeah,
idea.
or agencies, or yeah, I have a few agencies from the US with that I'm collaborating with, and actually they found me on LinkedIn. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yes. I'm a big fan of LinkedIn. It's actually the
yeah, me too.
social media platform I'm the most active on. The others are not so good. I need to do a bit of work on them. But yeah, I think LinkedIn's really, really a good place to be.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so um, tell me what's your like favorite place to take people in London? If you just had, if you just had half a day to take people somewhere in
Half
London,
a
where would you?
day.
Yeah.
Well, I have two almost secret places. They're not secret, obviously, but they're personal
Anywhere.
favorites of mine. One is the Dean's Yard near Westminster Abbey. It's not on a classic guiding tour itinerary. I know that for sure because whenever I go there, I never see any guide with a group or anything like that. It's just a small yard, part of the Westminster Abbey estate, and I really love it because it's so noisy and crowded in front of Westminster Abbey. Everybody's taking pictures, going to the shop, buying souvenirs, etc. But when you enter through the sanctuary inside the Dean's Yard, it's instantly silent. Instantly. It's, I don't know, every time I went there, it's like that. It doesn't matter how many cars are outside or whatever. It's so silent there and so beautiful. And you can hear the birds, and you can see the pupils from Westminster Boys School. It's a boarding school inside the abbey when they're getting out of their classes, and it's such a sanctuary, so to speak, that I really really love it. It's one of my favorites. Another area that I like. It's the Neil's Yard in Covent Garden. It's a minuscule yard full of restaurants and terraces. It has a very funny shape. It's like some sort of a triangle with very tall buildings, very colorful, and it's full of life and very vibrant, and it's very very nice. So
Mm.
that's where I would take them for a tour, say through Soho, Covent Garden, British Museum.
They both
And
sounded well.
another, sorry,
Carry on.
another personal favorite of mine, not necessarily to go with the clients there, but for say relaxation for myself, and I truly recommend it whenever someone wants to do it. It's having a walk through Chelsea and Kensington, especially now in the spring when all the trees are in bloom and the magnolias are blooming. It's so beautiful. All the houses are white. They have those white columns that London is famous about. So when you go there, it's like being out of the craziness of this metropolis, and it's just quiet and nice. And I'm obsessing with taking pictures. I always take pictures everywhere. So I think this is the next personal experience that I'm gonna do with myself and for myself, to go to Chelsea and take pictures of the houses and the flowers and everything.
It sounds like a lovely time of year for it. And can you remind me again the name of the first place you mentioned? Because I just want to remember it. So not Neil's
Yeah,
Yard, the
so
place you mentioned before.
it's the Dean's Yard near Westminster Abbey.
Okay. Mhm.
It's minuscule. You have to look it on the map. And Neil's Yard in Covent Garden.
Thank you. I must remember that because I mean, I think as well that goes back a little bit to what we were saying about luxury tours. It's
Yeah,
giving people that something they feel they maybe couldn't get
exactly.
with any other tour. It's giving them something really, really special that not everybody knows about.
I can
Um,
I can let you into a secret about the Dean's Yard. If you cross it, you exit on Great College Road, which was the location of College of Westminster until the 1850s. And if you go on the left hand side of that road, near the wall of the gardens of Westminster Abbey, at one point you're gonna find yourself in front of the Monarch's Tower at the Palace of Parliament. So it's viewing the Houses of Parliament from the opposite side of the Big Ben, and
mm,
it's just like poof, it just appears. And I always take my clients, I direct them on the left hand side of the road. They have no idea. And then I just we arrive in front of the Houses of Parliament. So
Oh,
that's a secret of mine that I do, and I can share it with you. Of course, everybody can do it, but that's one of my favorite parts of that tour specifically. It's like a
well,
surprise within the tour.
it sounds amazing. I mean, I can just imagine the looks on their faces when they suddenly see the
Yeah, yeah,
house.
everybody,
Yeah,
everybody's like that.
collective deep breath. Wow. Okay, well, I can't believe it. This has just gone by in a flash, but it's now
Well,
half
yeah,
past 12 already. So we've come to the end of this tour guide tales. Diana, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you. You are
for
such
me
fun
too.
talking to you, and I'm sure
Thank
our
you for
audience
inviting me.
really enjoyed it as well. No, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you to everybody watching for your comments. I'm sorry, I am not a multitasker. Women are supposed to be great at multitasking. I can't multitask, so I'm not able to like and reply to comments while I'm talking to Diana, but I shall go and look at all your comments now. Thank you so much for your presence. And yes, look forward to seeing you at the next tour guide tales. Amanda says, thank you both, a delightful conversation to listen to.
Thank
And
you.
Pat says, super interesting and two cool people. Oh, thank you very
Oh,
much.
thank you so much. Thank you, Jenny, for having me. It was a real pleasure. And I have to admit, all my emotions got away. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in London. Whenever you wish, you're most than welcome. We can have our private tour together, followed by a drink or whatever, whenever you want.
Wonderful. And you know you're welcome in Shetland anytime as well. So
Thank you
maybe
so much.
okay. Thank you so much, everybody. And yeah,
Thank
see
you,
you on the next
everyone.
Tour Guide Tales very soon. Remember to get in touch with me if you would like to be a guest on the show. Thank you.
Thank you.